Hey everybody, it's Emily Gear, multidimensional channel and transformative energy healer. I'm going to be doing your June reading just to see what kind of energies are going to be coming up and coming into our focus during the month of June. Gemini season has already started, so we are well into the energies, but this reading is going to be for June 1st through the 30th, roughly. So I'm going to be using the Mystic Mondays Tarot as well as the Lightworker Oracle. And the first thing I'm going to ask is just to get an indication of what we're going to be dealing with in the month of June in general for the collective, please. What is the month of June going to be about for the collective, please? Get a few more. Oh dear. That was a good oh dear. What's the month of June going to be about? Let me ask it this way. Let me get a clarifier on the first card that came out for June. Okay. This does not shock me. This, I feel like I've been seeing in a lot of different readings, but we first have the Lovers, clarified by the Knight of Wands. And so I do feel like there is a greater sense of unifying one's purpose, one's heart with one's mind, if that makes sense. Like you're no longer like battling, like the two are not necessarily battling, and you kind of have picked a direction to go in, even though you're not giving it a lot of thought. It's like you are going to have more forward drive. I'm surprised the Chariot didn't come out here, but this to me is almost like this combination feels like the Chariot to me. I think that many of you will be in a situation where a relationship between two people or two groups or a friendship or some kind of partnership moves forward. There might be I'm feeling the sense of a stop and start. So it's possible that it will like move forward quickly and then stop and back up a little and then quickly again. So don't be discouraged if it's a little bit stop and start. The thing about the Knight of Wands is there's not a lot of thought involved, a lot of impulse. It's very impulsive. And so sometimes you can get moving with your energy and then reevaluate what the heck you're doing, and your head will stop you, but then your heart will push you along again. So just keep in mind that that could be happening. I do think that there's a lot of relationship movement going on this month. I just heard the word Virginia's for lovers, if that means anything to any of you. It just makes me think about my childhood when we would visit Virginia Beach, and there's the palm trees, and there weren't flamingos there, but I imagine that there could be flamingos, pink flamingos in somebody's front yard, the plastic kind. And it makes this heart here. Like it just feels like this paradise driving off into the sunset, right? Well, we know that, relationships are far more than that, but that could be coming up and coming out for a lot of people. If it's not a romantic relationship, it could absolutely be a business partnership, a friendship, some kind of coupling of some sort moves forward in some way. That doesn't mean that you're moving in together in June, but it could mean, that you're taking some, or the other person or both of you are taking some step forward with the intention of igniting something, okay? And again, that could be a little bit of stop, start, stop, start. I get more information on the energies affecting us for the month of June, please. Okay, we've got the moon here. Let's get a little more information. I'm actually feeling a lot of emotion coming through that moon card. And maybe this is why the stop and start motion that I was picking up on is it's almost like there's some fear, some anxiety, some like emotional, there's this nostalgic attachment to this person or situation or group of people, whatever it is. There's a nostalgia there. And therefore, there is both this dreamy sense to it and also this I want to say it's almost a sense of loss that's already there. And so it could be simply that balance, not balance, but that false dichotomy between like the love and the fear, and that there's great love there, but there's also great fear there. The fear of losing that love is really that big fear, and it could be that this stop and start has to do with this kind of fearing an energy so big. Okay, does that make sense? Like if you don't have much to lose, then you move fearlessly forward, because like what could happen? If you have something big to lose, then you might stop and start, or you might freeze altogether, but this suggests movement here. We've next got the Princess of Wands that has come up, and so I feel like that echoes this kind of forward movement. But to me, it's paired with this Nine of Wands that also came out, and so it's this renewal of energy that has been working for a very long time. Like there's almost a sense of getting a second wind, or I just heard the words midlife crisis. I don't really know why. I don't think anybody's actually having a midlife crisis, but I think maybe some people fear that they're having a midlife crisis, and that's why they're thinking that that's why they're having this strong pull toward whatever this is for them. Okay, and let's be totally honest, I don't know everybody's situation. Maybe it is, and where you have to check in with yourself is in your heart, and not be stopped by this fear, but look at the truth that is in your heart space. The fear is going to be up here in your head, or it's going to be in your solar plexus. Okay. So this is like a new start to something, that some kind of cycle which was coming to an end, or this particular part of the cycle is coming to an end in a very tired way. Everybody is sick and tired of the way this has been playing out. And it's because of this fear. I think both parties, both groups, whatever, I think both of them, I'm really feeling are in this fear, or have been in this fear at different times. And I think that to them at this time, the results of the idea of moving forward here are somewhat shrouded in darkness. So they're not sure what to expect. And I feel that there's an important lesson there about trust. That if you are able to connect in a fifth dimensional way through your heart, which is how we are all asked to begin relating, that you're sorry, I'm stumbling over my words here. Could be that you guys are really having a hard time really knowing how to communicate what's going on, or being able to level with each other, or be honest with each other about how you're feeling or what's happening. But there's this fear that you're both having, and if you check in with your heart, you're going to see what's real, what's illusion. That's what I'm getting at. The moon hides things in illusion, it illuminates other things, and so you're going to be able to discern. This is discernment, discerning fear from illusion via your heart. Okay? This gives you, if you do that, this gives you that new start, that renewal of a fight which has been going on for a very long time. And I don't want to say it that way. That was the wrong way to say it. I don't know what is with my words today. Like the other reading I did, I was all over my words too. But it's a renewal of the passion to ignite this relationship, this partnership, this project. Okay, when you had gotten to a point where you both felt that you were just beating it to death, or you were just both in a place where nobody was comfortable. Okay, this is starting over with that, from a place of the illumination of what it is that you truly desire. Okay, let's get more information on that and how that plays out. At the bottom of the deck there was the Six of Cups, which to me is nostalgia, which we just talked about. How does this play out in June? How does this energy play out in June? How does this energy play out in June? Okay. The first two cards that came out were the Ten of Swords. There's that ending with the Fool card. There's that really profound new beginning. So we're talking again about a restart. Let's get some more info. It's not a ton of info. Get some more information about this restart. How about? Okay, I'm back. My iPad ran out of storage again. So we were trying to get more information about this new start, this reset. Okay. Some of you guys are really held back by a sense of grief that you've been holding on to for a very long time. What else is this new beginning about? All right, I feel like that's one set of cards. Let me just see what else comes out here. What else is this new beginning about? Just flipped. Okay. It's also about, I'm hearing some things about giving to yourself and becoming more balanced in that sense. Yeah, this is somebody else is becoming, it could be the same people, but we're getting the Four of Swords with the Six of Pentacles, and to me this feels like extremely balanced energy. 6 and 4 equal 10. And the 6 is really all about balancing giving and receiving. I was also hearing there needs to be a balance in giving to yourself. And it could be because here's this person in this yoga pose, which to me feels like self-care. And the Four of Swords is traditionally about taking a rest after a difficult period, traditionally about that kind of self-care, about meditation, about going within, stepping away from chaos and all this heartbreak energy that may be clouding your mental space. So I feel like, what is this new beginning about? It seems to suggest in the cards earlier that there is a part of the new beginning that is pursuing this partnership. However, you can pursue partnership by taking time out to balance yourself. So some of you who are going through this period of, we've got the Five of Cups with the Hanged Man here. So there's like this going through this, I'm looking at it this way, it's like the sunset. You're going through a sunset period. Something is dying off. Something, you're grieving the passing of something in your life, okay? And that this is kind of tying you up in some sense. It may also be changing the way that you think about what's important in your life. Some of you, might be getting a new perspective on pursuing what you love, that it's not worth wasting time. Others of you might simply be held up in this energy of grief, this energy of sunset. Some of you are struggling to move forward because they're, in the case where they're actually, and I'm not saying somebody's going to die or anything, but if you have had some kind of, death in the family or something like that, you almost feel disrespectful moving on. And I don't know every situation, so that's between you and source energy, but other people simply are stuck in this energy of loss and lack, and the physical pain that it creates and emotional pain that it creates when you're hanging around in grief. You feel like you're in suspended animation are the words that I'm hearing. And so it's going to be important to move through that. I don't feel like all of you are there. I do feel like most of you are in this energy or are going to come from that energy and get into this energy of making sure to balance. So you might be able to, or you might find that you are able to give yourself self-care and balance your own energy after going through this very difficult situation. And in truth, we just pulled these cards to find out more information about what was going on, and this is a very difficult ending. So it could be, a very difficult ending of a relationship, a very trying ending of like breaking up a business, some kind of betrayal of some sort. This can also mean betrayal, but then the new beginning that follows it. So I feel like here's this difficult part, here's this betrayal, right? Or this terrible breakup or whatever it is. This is that middle part where you're healing yourself, and that is going to take place in June as well. And then I want to get one more set of cards just to see how this progresses. One more set of cards, please, for how this energy is to progress in June. I also want to say, just because my guides are like, yo, you just said terrible, terrible breakup or whatever. I don't want to say that I'm predicting that for you necessarily. I'm reading for so many people. This could be so many different things. This absolutely could be deeply buried family trauma from your childhood that has kept you in this suspended animation for your entire lifetime, that you have not moved past it, and you have continued to attract in relationships based on the wounding that you received in childhood, okay? So I am speaking in very general terms, but because there are so many of you, but you need to take the words that I say and apply them to your situation if they fit. If they don't fit, then this, this reading is not reading your energy specifically, okay? All right, so let's get some more cards here. Okay. Yeah, this makes sense. So we first have the Three of Pentacles. and we have the Four of Pentacles that came out together with the Ten of Pentacles. These are stable. This is rock solid, stable energy here. You have the equilateral triangle, which is the most stable two-dimensional shape, right? All equal on all sides, right? Then you have this four, the Four of Pentacles, and the fours in the tarot are the most solid, stable numbers because they're four corners. They don't move. They're the four corners that you build upon, no matter what suit it is. It's the four corners that you build upon. And then you have the 10, which is the culmination of all, and they are also arranged in an equilateral triangle, which I find interesting. So I feel like this is they're pointing out that the 3 and the 4 equal the 7, which is transcendence to this completion, this fulfillment, okay? So it's almost as if you're transcending, they're saying you're transcending this grief, this childhood wounding, this, whatever destruction you're rising from, okay? And starting again, whatever you're healing yourself from, renewing yourself, is transcended with this healing energy. You do transcend this this wounding, whatever it was, whatever the situation was, to reach this stable, solid culmination. And this is also the legacy card, which is all about not only stability, long-term happiness, and success in the material world, but for me it also equals leaving your mark in some way, whether that be through children, whether that be through your business, whether that be through your ideas that you put out there, the things you create. This is so this almost is like a life with purpose, is almost how it feels. And it's also it's a life lived with purpose and joy and gratitude and partnership. Because the part of that card, I mean, it depends on what this is for you. If this kind of legacy and gratification for you does not include partnership, then it won't include partnership. But for most people, that's part of it, and so it does include that. I'm not saying you're getting there in June, but I am saying that you're setting the stage, you're transcending the wounding to become the balance that you need in order to reach this, okay? Yeah, okay, so we have the Emperor. Like, what more stable, balanced, sorry, there's a big window here and my dogs can't handle light. Guys. Sorry about that again. As usual, this is a disaster of a reading. That's okay. So I was showing you the Emperor, and like, there's nothing more stable in this deck than the Emperor. This is massive amounts of stability and focus. It can be control as well, but it's softened very much by this Princess of Cups card coming out. And let me just feel into this a little bit. I'm almost feeling like this is a dropping of the expectations that you might have had in the past about what this stability looked like. And it's a softening of, it's a more, I was going to say mutable, but that's not really the word I'm looking for. it's allowing for the situation to flow a bit more. It's allowing for your, I'm feeling like a dreaminess to it. Like, not only do you begin to dream more of what really could be, because you're more accepting of the possibilities and what, you know, you really deserve. But it's almost like, I just heard the truth is out there. Like from X-Files. I'm not talking aliens though. It's almost like the possibilities are endless, and you're beginning to accept that into this stable 3D paradigm that you're living in. This is the shift of that. The Page of Cups also is the poet to me, and it's like allowing your life to flow like poetry. Do you know what I mean? It's like allowing, so it doesn't have to move forward in measure. I mean, that's funny because poetry is kind of measured, but it's art through measured beats. You know what I mean? It's art through measured words, and so you have both the stability, the structure, and you have the art. Okay, so it's almost like allow art. In a very broad sense. I don't mean like you all have to become artists or poets or anything like that, but allow your life to artfully flow into existence, flow into being. Now, what does that mean? Because we've just been sitting here talking about a relationship that's taking form, and I think that the major thing that is trying to come through here is whatever it is that you thought this should look like, right? You're going to have to release that in favor of trust, in favor of trust in the universe and trust in this higher power guiding you, and allow in these artful twists and turns that will still bring you this stability, right? This family, this legacy, but it brings with it the opportunity to really truly live, and it brings with it the opportunity for, and this is what I've been practicing with one of my spiritual advisors or coaches, is better than you could ask or imagine. This or something better. It allows you the or something better opportunity, or the better than I could ask or imagine opportunity, not just the opportunity that you set forth for yourself, that you tried to control. And I'm not saying that this is negative in any way. This is massive stability and impact, which is what we all want to have, but we want to be able to do that in the highest and best way. Okay? It was a very weird and roundabout way that they just brought me to that, but that energy is pristine. Like, I love it. Let's just go ahead and get some advice then. What's the advice for us for this month? Jesus. Okay. You are going to come up against some of your own, this is not other people, I don't think, but it feels like your own mental blockages, your own fear. And we saw some of that with this moon card already, okay? So we've already talked about this. But it's going to be important with the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords coming up here, two of my least favorite cards, because they freaking piss me off. Like, to me, they feel like a waste of time and energy when I just want to move forward. This may be part of the stop and start energy we were talking about before, right? You are going to have to step outside of your own head, okay? I want you to be able to separate yourself from these fearful thoughts that you're having. Know that they're not real, okay? Because we're talking, the King of Pentacles has come up here. I want you to be the King of Pentacles and be able to step outside your own head. Know that this stuff is not real. Ground yourself and be able to be a boss. Be the boss that you are. Boys, do not bark at that. My neighbors are outside being loud, sorry. And I feel like there is this amazing energy of taking control of your own life, being in your own sovereignty, and yet allowing it to flow artfully, that to me feels so much like internal balance. And that when these things come up, these mentally restrictive patterns and habits, these ways that we block ourselves, or these ways that we imprison ourselves mentally, that we can step in and be like, no problem, I got this. You know what I mean? Be able to step out of your own head and just say, all right, I see what I'm doing there. Okay, this isn't real. It's important that I recognize that this is how I feel, this is what I'm thinking, but this isn't real. Why am I thinking this? This is the process I go through personally all the time. So I like to be able to separate myself, kind of compartmentalize the thoughts, the fearful thoughts that I'm having, so I can turn around and look at them and say, okay, this is not me. This is something that I am going through, and this is a valid feeling I'm having, but we're going to need to overcome this now. And boss up. That's what I keep hearing, is boss up. So that's your advice. That's your advice for June. Boss up where you need to. Because the result of that is this. This is that fulfillment. Whenever it comes in for you in divine timing. So I do want to use, let's pull a Lightworker Oracle card, even though this is getting a little long, just for more advice. One more piece of advice, please, from the Lightworker Oracle card. Okay, this one just flipped. I think I'm just going to go with it. For a second, I was going to pull an extra one, but these descriptions are long. So number 37. This is called the heart transmission. I actually pulled this for myself earlier today, which is the only reason why I almost pulled another one, but we can have the same thing. Okay. Your heart is capable not only of giving and receiving love, but of connecting you to a great network of beings that resonate in the highest frequencies of divine love. Through your heart, you can receive information and guidance from networks of light that fill our universe. As you learn to open your heart to receiving these transmissions, your ability to work with group consciousness in a loving way increases. You shall affect humanity in a loving way, influencing the collective rather than allowing the lower frequencies of the collective to overwhelm you. I feel like that's kind of this advice here. Like, here are the lower frequencies of the collective. You need to be able to be grounded in your 3D reality and able to focus into your heart space to be able to step outside of that and overcome it. Working with group energy is a leap on the spiritual path with risk, but also with great reward in terms of empowerment to manifest your life's mission, which is also what we're talking about. The risk with group energy is mitigated when you approach it from the heart rather than the head. This is going to talk about the heart versus the mind a little bit. The mind can argue one point of view and then immediately and convincingly argue the opposite. The heart, however, either feels something resonates or it doesn't, whether or not there is a logical explanation for it. The mind can be seduced by those who tell you they have great spiritual power, but this will instantly trigger intuitive warning bells in your heart. For those with genuine power do not need to convince you of it. The heart is the key to deciding where you offer your devotion. When you offer devotion to the group consciousness that loves you unconditionally, your heart feels safe, loved, and an inner knowing of the righteous or the rightness of that group for you. Whether that group exists on the earthly plane or a spiritual dimension. For as long as it gives you life, broadens your horizons, nourishes your truths, and empowers you to live your destiny, that group is serving you. If you do not experience these positive effects, you feel drained, confused, or that issues are not resolving as you work with this group, then carefully listen to your heart and question whether it is indeed the right place for you to be. This may be your endings with your new beginning, okay? That's how to know. It is important to also work with groups that you can serve. Although you may love your family, for example, they might not be the group you can best serve. Perhaps those who are open, willing, and receptive to your spiritual gifts are outside your family. Perhaps your family can benefit spiritually from you in the role of mother or son or daughter, but not in the role of spiritual mentor. On the other hand, some groups may want to feed off of you, but not learn to do for themselves. They may wish for you to give them the answers to their problems. They may not be willing to develop the trust, courage, confidence, and empowerment that is required to take responsibility for their own relationship to the universe, which is needed so they can grow in soul wisdom through their life experiences. Your heart may guide you to withdraw your services from such people because you love them and want them to grow. This is about setting boundaries. This came up for me today. Your heart will guide you to operate differently with people or with different people. You may be guided to explore hobbies or interests that lead you to the next group that your presence can assist. The heart will also guide you when it's time to move on. The transmission of the heart gives truthful assessment of the interaction of your frequency with the frequency of a group. Is it mutually raised? Then this is a spiritually constructive connection. Is it diminished? This will not be so helpful. The heart empowers you to know when to work with others, for how long, and in what way. Trust it. The more you do, the more groups which can bring great benefit to you and to the planet can enter your world. So this is very important information about how to listen to the heart. That, it's misinformation out there that, the heart will lead you astray or whatever. It doesn't. It does not lie, as long as you listen to it and you stop interfering with your brain. So I hope that was helpful for you. I'm going to stop there for now. That is your June reading. If you would like to set up a personal reading or a healing session with me, I am in New York City and can do personal appointments in New York until mid-June. And if you are anywhere else in the world, I do Zoom appointments and also phone appointments, and those can all be scheduled on my website, IamEmilyGear.com. And I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you again soon.